Varun Saboo, head equities at Anand, Rathi is joining us now. Varun, afternoon. Varun, I'd like to take up an issue which market is discussing right now, and that is the price cuts. The fuel price cuts which have come in, they have been on the lower side of what the market was estimating, but the street punished these three stocks nevertheless. Just 2 minutes back, my colleague is telling us that IOC chairman is saying that probably more cuts are possible if conditions allow. So pull up the intraday of BPCL and I'll tell you what exactly. At one point in time, it was down almost 7-8% and then started recovering. In fact, halved that losses. Now that they are opening the window still for further cuts, how do you think these stocks are right to be taken up, to be bought again, or not right? You'll get lower levels later.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Irina, again for inviting us. Just to mention about the cut, I think it was quite lower than what the street was expecting, right? 2 rupee cut as such on fuel is nothing that we saw, and this has happened after a very long time, after 18 months that we've seen. So this kind of cut, I don't think so will bother the street too much. As regards the stock reactions, the way they were, I think it happened across PSU pack. It wasn't only to do with OMCs. I was just looking at stocks like BHEL, BEL, ONGC, etc. Even ONGC, which is an upstream, which should have benefited today, considering crude was up and valuations being extremely attractive. Still, the stock was down significantly. So I don't think so. It's only the reaction of the fuel cut. But yeah, IOC chairman mentioning that there could be some more cuts which can happen depending on the situation means that, say, if crude has to come off, and if that's how I'm seeing it, if crude has to come off, then they might pass on some more benefit. That's about it. But we don't see any material concern on these stocks from here. And we have to remember that these stocks are extremely attractive in terms of valuations, right? So yeah, would remain very bullish still on hpcl, bpcl, and apart from the OMCs, we remain extremely constructive on upstream companies. Particularly, we are very positive on ongc. So yeah, thank you.
Within ONGC and Oil India, any particular choice?
See, we are positive on both of them. You have to look at the valuations for the kind of ROEs that they do. ONGC does about 16% plus ROEs, is trading at 5 times earnings, 4 times EV EBITDA, 0.7 times book. Valuations are extremely attractive. I think there's no better bet today in the market than ONGC. I'm very, very constructive on ONGC and Oil India both.
Right. Varun, hi, afternoon. Also wanted to understand the view on the overall sentiment across the mid and the small caps. Does it seem like the weakness could have some more legs to go and we could see further downside from the current levels?
See, we are extremely constructive when it comes to small caps. Mid caps, we have seen a very sharp rally, and rightly so. If you see the earnings growth last couple of quarters, of mid caps were roughly upwards of 35-40%, and that reflected in the way stock performances were. If we see small caps, they were slightly lower. They were about 14-15% for last couple of quarters. But going forward, we are very, very constructive on small caps because we see at least a 26-27% kind of CAGR for next couple of years in the small cap names. Also, when it comes to multiples, if we assign, say, reasonable multiples currently, what we are getting is at least a 40-50% kind of upside in the small cap index basis the 2-year estimates which are there. While in mid caps, we see a 14-15% kind of upsides with a 2-year perspective. So we're not that constructive on mid caps, but yes, on small caps, we are very constructive, very bullish.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on the small caps. Just taking stock of what's happening in terms of the individual movers, it's the PSUs which are actually doing quite well. Take a look at Cochin Shipyard up 11%, Gujarat Pipavav is up around 10%. You also have other defense plays, the likes of Solar Industries, etc., seeing a bit of a bump up. What's your view, Varun, when it comes to this defense PSUs vertical?
Yeah, we have been mentioning about this before also when we were there at your channel. I think any narrative which has been there of the government, not only defense but also power and any other narrative which they have been having, where they have been focusing a lot, we expect continuity there. Considering the fact that there is growing consensus that you should see continuity in the government side also. So if that is the case, these are the best place to be in. Defense names have been doing extremely well. India has gained a lot of ground. We keep seeing they winning some order or the other. Yesterday, BEL had one of them. So we remain very constructive on these names also. Yeah, defense is a very attractive space to be in.
So I want to do a chart check with Kunal on Nuvama. Kunal, just check out in the last 5 minutes, we've seen a massive rebound coming in. 10% is what Nuvama Wealth is almost went to and come 6.5 still. Look at the last 1 month chart. It went to a good corrective phase, almost 3,800 and a rebound in the last 3-4 days from there. How does it look right now?
Yeah, it's a decent chart, Ajay. Over the last 1 month, since the correction also, it's been a very mild kind of a correction from 4,450 odd levels towards 3,800, 3,850 mark. That was the low the stock had made a couple of days back for Nuvama, and from there, it's come back towards 4,200 mark, which means that when stocks generally correct by a margin of 10-15%, and if they come back towards a 50% retracement of the correction in just a matter of couple of days, we tend to expect that these are the stocks which would eventually come back and break past their previous swing highs first, then many of the other peers. So I would believe that this seems to be a strong chart. Now that the 4,200 level is broken, which is a 50% retracement of that 500-600 point correction, the next target should be on the upside, which is around 4,500 plus.
Okay, in the meantime, what is actually getting undone is that slight bit of recovery which played out in the entire OMC pack, be it BPCL, hpcl, IOC, they're all now falling more than 5.5% apiece. Naresh, quite a breakdown of sorts for the entire OMC pack. You sense further pressure or shorting opportunities perhaps?
Given the announcement as well as the fact that the rally was pretty huge. So if you look at HPCL, it went from 250, 300 all the way to 600 levels. So a dip back to 430 is what I would expect as an entry point. So for now, we've come down to 460, 470 zones. So the last swing low was around 420, 430. So another 5-7%, they become buys. And structurally, it's been a long-term breakout. So the last time the stock was at such level was 500 back in 2017. Same is the case with BPCL. The stock had broken out above the 550 mark before. So 530, 550 would be a good entry point. So for now, watching out for another 5-7% downtick, and that should be a buy area for the whole lot of AMCs.
Last 15 minutes of the trading session, a lot of rebalancing was expected today. Let's try if we have Somit to join us to talk to us about what that FTSE rebalancing flows would do, because there were a couple of other adjustments that were going to happen. Okay, we'll try and get that soon, but in the meantime, let me take a look at some of the other buzzers. Shree Cement got a recent upgrade as well, so let's take stock of what's happening to that stock. Is there a reaction on that one? Because Citi has actually upgraded the stock. The target price is now 30,000 rupees, so it is seeing a bit of a jump up. Of course, the fact that the valuations have become attractive and the fact that they're expecting double-digit volume growth in FY24 and 25 is something which is supporting the sentiment on that one. What's the view on cement pack as a whole, Varun, and are there any favorites within the sector?
So yeah, long-term basis, 12-month plus, we remain very bullish on cement also. But in a near term, with a, say a couple of quarters view, we remain a little negative on a tactical basis. We don't have a positive view on cement right now, considering the fact that there have been price cuts which have been happening. You have elections coming up, so things will slow down in terms of infra activity. And finally, you will have monsoon after that, right? So we believe that there has been a good enough rally in cement. This should consolidate or correct a bit in the next couple of quarters, and then probably you can see the rally resuming again. Yeah.
But Varun, since we still have you with us, I just wanted to go back to the footwear segment. Today, they're very excited because, of course, there was an initiation as well by DAM Capital suggesting an upside of anywhere between 15 to 30%. There's this latest announcement from Metro as well. What's your big view on the footwear stocks? Because for the longest time, they did nothing. For 6 to 10 months, they were just sideways. Do you see a bit of a reversal of sorts here?
Yeah, so honestly, we have also not heard of any recovery so far. So our checks are on. Too early for us to comment here, but things are not picking up really on this side. And honestly, retail overall across India has to pick up, which has not been the case. So we will wait and see how the footwear part grows from here.
Right. Okay, Varun, great to have you on the show. We'll let you guys go on that note.